This is Real Politics.
Welcome. I am Roman Bettis, your host here at Real Politics Live. Thank you for each and every one of you for tuning in. It's the 8 o'clock hour. If you haven't already liked or followed our page on Facebook, please follow it at facebook.com/Real Politics Live. Or if you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, it is youtube.com/Real Politics. And if you would like to follow us on Twitter, it's twitter.com/Real Politics, or on Instagram, which I don't post anything on Instagram, but if you want to follow us there too, it's instagram.com/Real Politics. And I think we're having a LinkedIn account at some point. And Miss Producer has set that up, and I don't know what the LinkedIn account is. So apparently we're growing and we're everywhere. And today's guest, our awesome special guest, is the incumbent District 3 City Commissioner, Omar Quintanilla, who is running for re-election. I honestly don't know why anybody would want to be a commissioner more than one term, because it's a lot of complaints and none of the praise. So welcome, Commissioner Quintanilla. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, doing good. I'm doing okay. Be excited. No, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. And I got to say, as somebody who lives in Brownsville, and oh, by the way, I didn't tell everybody, if you have a comment or question for Commissioner Quintanilla, he's open and willing to answer your questions or comments. No trolling, please, because Miss Producer won't put your troll comments on. So if Commissioner Quintanilla killed a baby someplace, I don't want to know, okay? I don't want to know in the comments. I'm just kidding. I know he hasn't done that. He would have. I wouldn't have him on. It's okay. I got to say, the commission candidates, whether they're running for mayor or city commission in McAllen, have really impressed me overall. The quality of candidates, the quality of individuals that are running, and as compared to the quality that I have in my city is really crazy. And so I commend you all in McAllen for doing that. So tell us who you are, Commissioner, and why you're doing this.
Sure, absolutely. Again, thanks for having me on your show. My name is Omar Quintanilla, as you mentioned. I've been a city commissioner for the last 3.5 years. This is my first term in office. I'm originally from the city of Mission. I went to Mission High School. After graduating from Mission High School, went to St. Mary's University and pursued a bachelor's in business with an emphasis in finance. I wanted to get into banking. And right after college, I was hired at a bank in San Antonio that is also here in the Valley, fortunately. And I spent another year in San Antonio working at the downtown corporate office. And in 1999, moved back down and have been living here ever since. So I've been working for the same bank for 22 years now in the corporate lending area, working on corporate accounts. And so right after coming back down in 1999, started to get involved in the community. The first thing I did was get involved in Leadership McAllen. A lot of cities have similar type programs. That organization is so beneficial in McAllen. It really does help to grow the leadership base in the community. Mm-hmm. And so I was in class 20. Our classes are about 30, 35 students at any one time. So you get to learn a little bit about everything that relates to the city. There's a government component to it. There's a public safety component. There's a health component. But it's really well run, and it's really where I got started and grew my desire to continue to serve. Right. So after Leadership McAllen, one of the things that they do is they encourage you to continue to serve. Right. And so I got on the community development board for the city of McAllen. It's the board that helps to make recommendations on community development block grant, CDBG. And so I was on that board for 6 years. I got to chair that board. 3 out of the 6 years I was on it. And after that, moved on to the library advisory board. We got to see how that worked as well, and have since been involved in other organizations. And about 4 years ago, decided to run for office, and here I am.
Oh, sorry about that. It just. Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry about that. As a commissioner, and your background is in economics, and what do you see as your, not pet peeve necessarily, but your main issue as a commissioner, since you are a District 3 commissioner right now? Is it the economics and the strength and the vitality of the city of McAllen, or is it something else?
Well, I think it has to do with the total economic situation of the city of McAllen is something that I'm very much in tune with, because our budget is very much influenced by the state of the economy, right? And so if we're able to improve the economy, either through grants, helping out our Chamber of Commerce to become more vibrant, have more programs like that. So the better we're able to do as far as trying to improve the economic situation of our city, the better our budget is going to become. Because one affects the other. And so even outside of that is this general state of the national economy, right? And so we can't do anything about that normally. We can't do anything about the bridge crossings, being restricted right now. But we can help our small business community. And that's what we've been doing this past year. During the pandemic, we've been issuing small business grants. And so we've been trying to do our part to strengthen the small business community in McAllen, because that's what we can do. That's something measurable that we could do that affects our budget.
Is there some cities like to go out for the big fish, and they want to bring in maybe whether it's industry or some big box store into the community, give them tax abatements or whatever to bring them into the city, while other cities would like to see focusing on small businesses and try to encourage and incentivize small businesses so that you can grow the sales tax dollars and the sales tax dollars and the property taxes and all that can stay in the city. What is your perspective as a commissioner? I know it's going to be a balance, but what do you prefer a little bit more for the city, and what has the city been doing?
Well, the city has a perspective of using the half-cent sales tax money that we have through the Development Corporation to help bring companies and industry that we don't have in McAllen. That's been what we've talked about. That's been the policy for a number of years, and I believe that is still the correct thing to do. We want industry and companies to come to McAllen that we currently don't have. And so, but going back to what should be our focus, should it be small business? Should it be the large business? Really, we need to go after every business. Small business is important. When it comes to the permitting process, I know that we can do a better job in McAllen, and I know that we can continue to fine tune the permitting process so that businesses, restaurants, whatever the case may be, they look at McAllen, they say, you know what, I want to move there because it's so easy to do business there. We already know that the climate is pro-business. We already know that the residents support the businesses in McAllen, right? Now, is the city going to make it easy for me to build my building and help me with my permitting process? That's where we're still concerned with, right? So when it comes to small business, I think that's where we have room for improvement. Now, when it comes to negotiating, with larger companies, I think that needs to continue because in McAllen, we're the hub of the county here. We're the largest city in Hidalgo County. We need to continue to protect, that mentality that we've got, the fact that people want to come and have their business in McAllen. People want to come and do business here. They want to come to the mall. They want to set up their business here because this is where people come. This is the hub of like Hidalgo County. And so that we need to focus not only on small business, but on attracting companies and industry that we don't have in McAllen. So we got to do both.
Right. I agree. Are there any comments, Ms. Producer, so that we can be able to get some guys? We're here with Commissioner Quintanilla. Please like and share this live stream so we can get his message out to everyone, especially you may not live in McAllen, but you care about. Hey, well, you're welcome. Hey, you're back, Commissioner. Good job. Way to go. Omar, reelect. Okay. And if Lynette watching. Okay, cool. Awesome. What differentiates you from your opponent? That's a good question. That's a very good question to ask, but let me do the introduction again, reintroduction. So we're here with Commissioner Quintanilla. Please like and share the feed. If that's okay with you all, that'd be great. And have you any comments or questions like what Edgar just asked? And I'm sure Mr. Quintanilla, Commissioner Quintanilla will answer that question. So what differentiates you from your opponents, plural, because there's apparently two of them, at least for now. You may get more, because now we have a sixth candidate for mayor that apparently filed today or yesterday. Crazy.
Yeah, we have plenty of candidates for the office of mayor there, that position. So to your question, what differentiates myself from my opponents? I think my career path. I'm obviously the only banker that is running for a commission in District 3, and how it benefits the city is that I deal with small businesses all the time. A number of small businesses, and I get to hear what their concerns are. When we were during the pandemic, as bankers, we were on the front lines delivering PPP to small businesses. The PPP program was really a lifeline to many small businesses, and so being in the trenches is something that I think the city still needs. I know I have one opponent that's retired, right, and was a professor, and another one who's worked for a cell phone company, and so I really don't know a whole lot about them. Really the both of them just filed here recently, and I don't know a whole lot about the two of them. I can just tell you about what my experience has been, right, as a banker for the last 22 years, and as a member of the community that's been really involved in organizations such as Amigos del Valle. I'm currently the vice president of the organization called Amigos del Valle, which handles the Meals on Wheels program. I don't know if you've heard of Meals on Wheels, but it's basically where we have a central kitchen and we deliver meals to senior citizens throughout the valley. And we also have a housing component to it. And so really what I'm going to mention, what I'm going to tell people that differentiates myself from other people, number one is my background as a banker, and number two is my civic involvement. Been very involved for the last 20-some years here in the city of McAllen.
Yeah, and Ms. Producer had a question on the private chat, and I think it's a good question to ask. With COVID, how has the import-export trade in McAllen been affected?
Well, fortunately, import and export trade has not been affected as other industries have. When it comes to one of the big industries in McAllen, or really in the valley, is produce, and it's an essential business. And I think what we saw back in March and in April was maybe a little bit of a pullback. What happens in produce is that people, they change their eating habits a little bit during a time of crisis. They'll eat some certain foods that maybe are less expensive, and that's understandable, right? But there was a little bit of a shift there, in March and in April. But in talking to people in produce, especially, they have been relatively unaffected, right? So when it comes to international, import and export, in terms of at least the produce industry, we've been fine. Now, where we've been affected, the city of McAllen has been affected, is more in bridge crossings. We depend on bridge crossings. There's a toll involved, and we use that money to pay for the loans that are against the bridge. And so when bridge crossings are down, then city of McAllen revenue goes down as well. So that's mostly where that's affected the city, is in the retail crossings that have affected revenues to the city.
All right. Do you have any more questions, Mr. Producer? Welcome, Mr. Quintanilla. Care for Mr. Quintanilla has nice hair too. Competitions with good. I know. I even told him when he came on, like, I like your hair. It's like good hair. Although my hair is like flopping down for no reason today. Is there another one, Mr. Producer? No. Nope. I guess we're good. I just want to make sure caught up. Awesome. I was going to ask you a little bit more about coronavirus and how you feel that the city of McAllen has handled coronavirus, and in terms of getting out the vaccines. What is the city doing to make everybody safe as possible? And do you think that the city has done a good job, or can the city do even better?
Well, we can always do better. Let's talk about the vaccine, right? The vaccine right now is being distributed to entities such as Hidalgo County, right? And certain hospitals. Unfortunately, it currently is not being distributed to healthcare providers, such as many of the doctors that we go to. So we know that the county receives about 5,000 vaccines a week. They have to distribute those vaccines to the precincts that are involved here in the county. So, really, if you take a look at, what we did last week there with the first clinic that we did in McAllen, we were able to do I think we did 1,000 vaccines last Friday in the city of McAllen. If you compare that with the amount of traffic, because we had a registration day the day before, we had 53,000 people try to register for 1,000 vaccines. The amount of need is tremendous, but we're all limited because the vaccines are coming in from the state. They're the ones that are distributing those vaccines. And so, at the city of McAllen, we're thankful that we have a place that we can distribute those vaccines, which is a convention center, right? And we're thankful to the county for their efforts in making the city having a hub here for vaccine distributions. But really, if instead of it was 5,000, if it was 20,000 a week, we'd be in much better shape.
All right.
We have so many people in the county, so many people that need the vaccine, and it's just not coming in fast enough. But what I've been hearing is that pretty soon, whether it's weeks or months, the vaccine is going to be so widely available that, we're going to hopefully be able to go to a CVS, a Walgreens, to our doctor's office, and we're going to be able to get it.
Yeah, and that's the
but
goal.
I'm hoping that right now, in the meantime, the most vulnerable are the ones taking advantage of it, especially the recommended, the 65 years and older, and those with medical conditions, that they're taking advantage of having access to the vaccine, because it's definitely a lifesaver. When you look at 95% or higher success rate with having a vaccine, that's just very, very beneficial.
Yeah, and hopefully, I think CVS is now going to be doing it throughout the country. I know that the CVS here in Brownsville, again, I'm sure the CVS in McAllen is going to get it, and it'll be much better for it. I know that HEB gets them every once in a while in some of the pharmacies in HEB, so it's getting there. Hopefully, it'll work. Hey, Roy, how you doing, Roy? Good evening, Commissioner Omar Quintanilla. Do you believe in reload allocating funds in our PD and term limits on elected officials? In fact, I think you were one of the people on the commission that pushed for term limits to be on the ballot, and you and McAllen will be able to vote on that. So I'm sure that you support the idea of term limits, but now we get you on the record.
Yes, term limits. Even before coming into office, I believed in term limits. I think that that there should be a certain amount of time given to an elected official, whether it be 2 terms, 3 terms, to get their agenda done. To get what they want to do done, and then after that, it's time for somebody else. And I know that some people think, well, you know what, that's what elections are for. But sometimes, a community, selects the same individual, but there are other individuals, that could come down the line. It's so what we did. We formed a committee there at the city, and it was myself, Commissioner Haddad, Commissioner Zamora, and between the 3 of us and city staff, we came up with a 3-term limit, and we're going to put it before the voters and see what the voters think. I mean, that's 12 years to be able to serve the city and to use your talent and skills to benefit the residents in your district. I think that's long enough. I'm seeking a 2nd term, so I'm seeking 8 years, but we're giving it up to 12 years in this referendum. And so we're going to put it before the voters and see what they think. We've heard many comments, from the community that there are 4 term limits. And so we'll see what they say.
Yeah, and that's actually going to be on the ballot in Brownsville. Slightly different. I think it's 2 terms in Brownsville. So those of you who live in Brownsville, that'll also be on your ballot. I will be voting against it because I think 2 terms is too short a period, number 1. And 2, I think, I agree with the idea of doing it, putting it to the voters. That's me. But you're doing it differently, and that's 3 terms, 12 years. I think that's actually might be a good happy medium. So I guess I endorse your term limit idea. And that's also commission. Yeah, that's for commission, not in total. It's for commissioners and 12 years or 3 terms for mayor. So it doesn't overlap or anything like that. It's not
correct.
So you could technically be on the commission for 24 years, but why in the world would you want to do that? I have no idea. Some people would. Ms. Producer is asking me this question to ask you, and I was going to ask it anyway. What area is District 3 there in McAllen?
So District 3 is west central part of McAllen. It starts on Taylor Road, which is the boundary between McAllen and Mission. It goes to 23rd Street, and then it's from Business 83 up to Nolana. Okay. So it's a west central part of the city of McAllen.
Is it a relatively smaller district compared to the other ones? Not in terms of population, because they all have to be about the same, but in geography, is it a smaller district?
Geographically, it is a little smaller. If you look at the way our districts are configured, District 1 starts in Olana and it goes all the way to Tres Lagos, up to which is 107 and Ware Road. So that district is just it's got a large geographic area.
Why would you want to run there? Too much
work. Yeah. Good luck, District 1. No,
but yours is like compact, and it's a lot easier, I think, to be able to go through the streets. It's more rectangular. Yes. Streets are probably easier. Not a lot of cul-de-sacs, so it's going to be easy to block walk if you're block walking during the pandemic.
District 3 is a lot easier. It's a well-defined square of the city, and you're right. So it's more compact and easier to maneuver through.
Darren, I'm going to get to that question, but 'cause that's actually what it could be my next topic. It's like you're beating me to it, Darren. But I want to put Commissioner Zamora's information he just posted. I think that's actually good information. Ms. Producer, are you able to copy that and potentially put that on the bottom? Because I think that's really a big help. Commissioner Zamora was saying that you can call 211 if you don't have the internet for the vaccine hub. Is that's what Commissioner Zamora did, right, Ms. Producer? Persons without internet can call 211 to get registered at COVID vaccine hubs. That's actually a really, really good thing. And we do have a lot of people that don't, there is some sort of a potential digital divide. I think one of your opponents says there is no such necessarily a digital divide. But I still feel like there's a little bit of a digital divide, at least a generational divide.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. So Darren is preempting me on the question. There is a group of individuals that have petitioned the city to remove the authority of the city of McAllen to control their own elections and force the city to use the county to do the election there in McAllen. Historically, I think you've had, I don't know how many years of the city itself doing the elections. I know that the city is in the process of legal. What is it? You have a lawsuit going on. So you may not comment completely because you're a commissioner, but you are a candidate. So maybe you can comment whatever you can in terms of this lawsuit and what's going on.
Sure. Well, I can just touch on it because, as you mentioned, it is a lawsuit, and you're right. There was about 40 individuals that signed a petition to require the city to use the county to handle the election, right? So currently, and for I believe the last 40 years, the city of McAllen has administered its own election. We even have our own equipment that we purchased. It's when you do something for 40 years, it's a well-oiled machine, and we have a great city staff that knows the rules, that does it very, very well, especially with our city secretary that's been doing it for a very long time. And so I mean, you just take a look at it. I mean, 40 individuals from a city can petition to require a city to change the way it does its election. I think that's a pretty low bar. If you want to change the city charter, you need 3,000 at least. But in order to change the way we run our election, all you need is 40 individuals. I don't think that was the intent behind the state law that was enacted. And I think that if you even look at Senator Hinojosa's bill and subsequent comments, I don't think it was his intent either. So I don't want to say too much because you're right. We're in the city has filed a lawsuit, and we'll see where it goes. I think the most important thing is that we have an election here this coming May 1st, and if it's in the hands of the courts, they'll make a good decision, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure. And just guys, this is Real Politics Live. I'm Roman Bettis, your host, here with McAllen City Commissioner for District 3, Omar Quintanilla. If you have any questions for Commissioner Quintanilla, please post it. Please like and share the feed to help Commissioner Zamora make his comment. Myra, term limits are needed. District 3 is smaller than District 2. Wow. Yeah, no. So that means who's strong, who's more. Well, you know what? I'm going to save it for the rapid fire in a little while, maybe about 15 minutes or so. We will have rapid fire with Commissioner Quintanilla. I already have one in mind, and it's going to make Commissioner Zamora not happy. Haha. Just kidding. Just kidding. No. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask Commissioner Quintanilla those rapid fire questions, and look at the bottom of the crawl, and Miss Producer will let you know when we're ready for those questions. But yeah, it was funny, Miss Producer. Okay. The idea of regionality or Okay, I'll read this comment from Commissioner Zamora. He gets prime bidding here. A lawsuit was filed against the state of Texas and the Secretary of State of Texas, who is the head of state official for elections held within the state. Yes, it's not filed against the individuals that did the petition. It's filed against the state to hopefully get that overturned. And I think that's what you all want there at the city. One of the questions that I asked is about regionality and working as a region to grow the valley and not necessarily going into your own. Some cities are very like, we just want to go on our own and forget about it. What is your position on working together with other cities to make the area better, or is it more of a McAllen first mentality?
Well, I think we need to look at the region as a whole. I think we need to do both.
Mm-hmm.
McAllen, as I mentioned earlier, we're the hub of the county, right? So we have some things that are not in other cities. So we've got the mall, right? We've got a very strong business community, and we have area over at on Military Highway. We've got a maquilas, that are strong in this area. And so every community is unique and has its own set of advantages, right, and challenges, right. And so I think we need to work together. I think even the city, we've got to look at pooling our money together so that we bring large companies to McAllen. And not only to McAllen, but to the area, right? We've already been doing some of that. The city of McAllen has been working with the city of Mission and trying to partner in some efforts. And so I know we're doing it with other cities as well. We need to continue to partner, because if we are trying to bring a large manufacturing company, let's say a manufacturer of vehicles or that kind of thing, it's going to take a lot of money. Not only, and a city cannot do it on its own. I know we rely also on the state, for their enterprise fund, and so we can't do it alone. We can't think about just using our own resources. We've got to pool our resources together. So I'm all for working together with other cities to be able to do that.
One of the things that people don't realize when they run for city commission, that when you're on the city commission, it's a lot of stuff about zoning and things like that, the minutia kind of stuff. Can you speak to that in terms of when you ran? What was your expectation? And am I right that it's just some minutia stuff that people don't even understand? They can be kind of boring, or do you find the minutia and the boring stuff exciting for you as a commissioner?
Well, everything's exciting when it comes to what we do at the city.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look at a typical agenda, a lot of what we do is approve contracts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's really nothing exciting about approving contracts, but it's really getting into the meat and potatoes of what that contract has. What's in it for the city of McAllen? What's in it for our residents? And is it fair, right, for us? Are we getting the best deal? I mean, that's something that we look at all the time. Mm-hmm. So we're approving contracts. There's nothing that is that people might think, well, maybe it's just a contract. Well, but it's hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially, right? So we look at
sorry, I'm laughing at permission to
not only purchase contracts, but to Zamora, he loves the mundane, right? So it's not just purchase contracts, but it's construction contracts. Right. And so there's a lot of vetting involved in that. Unfortunately, we rely on if a contractor comes in with a bond, then they're properly vetted. Well, I wish there was a way for us to be able to get around that, because there are some contracts that we've gotten into where they brought in a performance bond, and they didn't perform, right? And so, but it's very difficult for the city. It's time consuming to realize on the bond, because there's time and money that's involved in doing that.
Right.
And so so the proper vetting of construction contracts is very important. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to have somebody that's involved in the business community, that knows what's going on. Somebody with my background to be on the city commission.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we were going to talk about here is zoning. That becomes a touchy subject because sometimes you've got a rezoning of some property, and it's next to some individuals, some property owners that don't particularly want that property to be rezoned. And it really becomes a situation where you got to visit with the parties involved,
right,
and make a decision that is best for not only the parties involved but for the city. And so sometimes that becomes a difficult decision to make, but that's what we were given the task to do. Is to make those important decisions. Many decisions that we make as far as rezoning are standard, and it's just changing from one use to another, and but there are some that really bring out the residents, because everybody has an opinion when it comes to that. It's like, well, especially if you live within the certain zoning or radius of that, you're gonna have an opinion, especially if they're coming if somebody wants to change the zoning that is right next to where you live, you're gonna have an opinion on that, right? And so it's important for us as elected officials to listen to both sides and to make the right decision.
Yeah, no, and I agree, and that's why I bring up that question. I haven't asked this type question. Every interview is different. It's just what muses me. But I've seen people that run for office, and after a couple of years, like, it's not sexy. It's not what I thought it was going to be, and I'm having to settle disputes about whether somebody can get a variant or something from one, to be able to go 1 foot over to be able to build a shed or something, and it can be very time consuming and very stressful. Or you're having to deal with other commissioners that don't necessarily see your vision, and you have to have that temperament. And I think, would you agree that a temperament of a commissioner is or a candidate or individual is very, very important on the commission? You would agree with that?
It is very important. I think the ability to work with your fellow commissioners is also very important. And just the ability to be objective. And not to get influenced by, whatever the case may be, just to be as objective as possible, and make a decision based on the facts that present themselves.
Right.
We in these kind of issues, we try to be consistent. If we allowed a certain situation to happen some time ago, we try to be consistent and continue to do that. Because it's not fair to allow it for one person and not for another, right? That's just not what we should be doing.
Yeah, let's do Roy's question. I don't know if you were done. I'm trying to find the right pause to go there.
No.
Okay, good. Commissioner Quintanilla, with all the National Guard members from across the country deployed here in the city of McAllen to fight COVID-19 virus we have here, what are you going to do to honor these service members here in McAllen?
That's a very good question. I'm glad that you're bringing it up, because what we did for the first responders and nurses is we gave them a honor situation where we had the fire department, and one morning we basically gave them a police escort, right? And we had an event there, really small, because we're still in the times of COVID, right? So we can only do so much, but it's necessary to honor first responders, the National Guard, as Roy is saying, and nurses, because they're our front lines. I mean, they're helping. The National Guard here, like he's mentioning. I mean, they are serving our community just as much as the nurses that are serving the patients. And so everybody's in harm's way, and whatever we can do at the city to honor them and to recognize their efforts, I think we need to do that. But I appreciate Roy for suggesting that, because that's a really good idea.
Yeah. The next topic is going to be, for me, open meetings and executive session recordings. Guys, again, we're with Commissioner Omar Quintanilla. If you have any questions for Commissioner Quintanilla, don't let me be the only one asking questions. I would love to hear yours. I'm sure they're better than mine. And so that we can have a good conversation in about, maybe 5 or 7 minutes, we'll do rapid fire. So get ready for that. Commissioner, they're in the city of I'll step back. The State Representative Terry Canales had done had a law passed, and that he introduced a bill and it was passed by the state legislature to allow citizens to be able to get up and speak on every item on the agenda if they wanted to. What are your feelings on public comment, on the ability for people to do that? Does the city currently allow citizens to comment on every item on the agenda as per the Texas Open Meetings Act? And the second part of my question will be about executive session. Here in the city of Brownsville, our school district just had a vote, a 4-3 vote, to continue to record executive sessions behind, and not go the route of transcribing. What does the city of McAllen do for recording executive sessions? Or if they do it, do you feel that you shouldn't do it? What are the positives and negatives of either way? What are your thoughts on that? So give you a free range on open meetings.
We can start with the first part. The city has transitioned, I guess, in the last year or so into allowing for more public comment. And really, we've made it very easy for any member of the public to ask for their opportunity to speak on behalf of in behalf of the commission there. And so public comment is becoming it has become easier in the city, and we've gotten some good feedback. So you can comment at the very beginning on just anything in general related to the city, or you can comment right before an agenda item. Mm-hmm. And so I think it's a good thing. I think that the more suggestions and feedback that we have from the public is better. Yeah. In terms of your second question, your executive session, we currently do not record executive session meetings. I think the whole intent behind executive session is to discuss in private matters that are pertain to, let's say, strategy that the city is trying to pursue. Maybe we're trying to gain a contract, and if we were to be able to deliberate in public, we could lose our competitive advantage. And so that's the reason for mostly for executive session. We also talk about HR issues, which shouldn't be necessarily in public. And so I think that there is a reason why there's a section in our agenda item for executive session. I think it should continue to remain unrecorded. Although if we had minutes, I think that would be fair. But everything is subject to open records, right? And so really, executive session, if somebody's able to record it, then I think that the city would lose all cities are on the same boat would lose that ability to to deliberate in private over some matters that our city attorney deems to be appropriate to be deliberated during an executive session. So,
no, and one reason why I ask these type questions, I think I get a feel. I believe voters get a feel for who you are, what type of person you are, and I think people have to understand that when we conduct these interviews for candidates, it's a wide ranging. It's not going to necessarily be hot topic or sexy topics that people get riled up about, but it's more about allowing candidates an opportunity to explain who they are in a long form interview, not hot button issues or soundbite kind of stuff. So I think I appreciate your answers, and then the voters get to decide whether they want to be able to vote for somebody that makes those believes that. And quite frankly, I loved your answer about the text open meetings thing. I'm glad that y'all are doing that. As somebody who used to frequent our city commission meetings in Brownsville, I appreciate that. Commissioner Zamora made a comment. What was his comment? So I can read it. I apologize. Another way to allow additional discourse between citizens and the city hall are town hall meetings. Do you do town hall meetings there in District 3? Have you done any while you were commissioner the last 4 years? How many have you done? And what?
We try to have, or I try to have 1 or 2 town halls a year. And then what I like to do is have neighborhood town halls. And it's different than a regular town hall. So I consider to be a town hall is where we invite the district, to come and to hear about what we're doing. We do that at least annually. But I like to do neighborhood discussions. And I'm planning one again, in a couple of weeks with a group that I was just in a conversation with today about an issue pertaining to a particular part. So let's say, there's a traffic issue at a certain part of the district. You want to speak to the residents that live around that area and that neighborhood, right? And so as opposed to having a town hall where you're talking about bigger issues, issues that affect the whole district, or even issues that affect the whole city. So I like to do both.
Right. No, that's a good thing. I know when I ran for city commission, and I'm not trying to pump up my own resume, but that was one of the things I wanted to do, have a town hall meeting once a year, and I invite every single person that voted. I'd send you a letter and like, come on over, because I want to hear what you had to say. And so I'm glad that you're doing that, Commissioner. And that's what I think. That's the benefit and beauty of having district commissioners getting in contact with your constituents. So I guess it's time for rapid fire, and then after rapid fire, I'll have a few other additional questions, and then we'll end this interview. So don't leave just because we're doing rapid fire questions, guys. So my first rapid fire question is a very easy one. What is your favorite non-chain restaurant in McAllen?
Non-chain restaurant. Well, that's a tough question. We've got so many great restaurants in McAllen. We have the Delgados, have Salome, Salt, and House Wine. Great food that they have. If you're interested in seafood, I like La Costa. Okay. It's at Palms Crossing, and it's great. The ceviche there is wonderful. If you want fine dining, we've got it. It's Santa Fe.
These are supposed to be quick answers, Commissioner. Which one is it? Come on, pick an answer.
We have so many good restaurants. It's hard to, but yeah.
It's okay. You could just pick Zamora's. I mean, Commissioner Zamora picked Zamora's, and it was really easy. So I
love Zamora's. The botanas are great there.
Commissioner Zamora's asking a question. Cats or dogs?
Oh, thanks for asking that question, Joaquin. I grew up having cats, and I currently have a dog, but I grew up with a cat.
Okay. They're a cat person.
Yeah, I'm a cat. I guess I'm a cat.
Krispy Kreme or Shipley's?
I like Shipley's.
Okay, me too.
I like Shipley's. We have one down the street here, and I like Shipley's.
The one on 10th and Olana is the one I like. I like that one, right? The 10th and Pecan. Sorry, 10th and Pecan. Your Zamora's restaurant. There you go. What is your favorite donut there, Shipley's? Curious.
I like the cake donut. It's got like a chocolate cake donut with a glaze over it. I try to eat healthy, Roman. So I mean, you're asking me a tough question there.
It's okay.
Hey, I love donuts too. I mean,
it's okay. It's not a big deal. It's a good question. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Coke. All right. Yeah. What is your Okay, don't be diplomatic. Just give me a quick answer on this one. What's your favorite chain restaurant in McAllen?
I have to go with Whataburger.
That's a good one. That's a good one. There's nothing wrong with that. What did you order at Whataburger? What's your go-to order when you go there?
Well, the number one, I think is my favorite. But if like I'm trying to splurge, I'll add some bacon, some cheese on it, just to even out the edges there and just have a great meal. But yeah, the number one. I do like the water chicken there, and the grilled chicken sandwich there.
You're making me hungry.
I'm trying to stay healthy. I go with the chicken sandwich.
Okay, we'll stop talking about food because it's making me hungry. Cowboys or Texans? Cowboys or Texans?
Cowboys on that one. But I've been a long time fan. But on that one, the Cowboys.
Okay, Miss Producer saying Cowboys suck because she has to say that anytime that question is asked. I know it's okay. It's her opinion. Bucks or Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Chiefs.
Chiefs, good answer.
Gotta go with the Chiefs. They got a great quarterback. I think they're gonna pull it through.
Zamora or Haddad? You see, I was gonna sort of ask that question, Roy, but a different way. But I'm gonna take Roy's question. Who's the better commissioner?
Zamora Who's the better commissioner, Zamora or Haddad? I mean, do I have to be asked that question? That's like the most difficult. No, I'm just kidding. They're great guys. I like them both. They got talents that are complementary, and so I'm gonna have to give them a tie on that one.
Okay, what district is the best district in McAllen?
District 3. That's an easy one.
That's an easy one. He's lying. It's the number 5 double meat double cheese. I was gonna ask. Okay. Marissa, this is a really tough question. Good thing I don't have to vote on this one. Marissa Tomei or Jennifer Lopez?
Marissa Tomei.
Good answer. You see? Okay, who was the better performer in the halftime show last year? Jennifer Lopez or Shakira?
That was Shakira. I've been a long time fan of Shakira. If my wife was here, she would agree. I still like her first album.
Yeah. And it was today, I believe, is the anniversary of that faithful, wonderful event. And I only care about Shakira's spot. That's just my opinion. Are there any others that we can ask? If not, I want to ask another one. No, there's no more, Mr. Producer. Okay. What are your colors and why? Very quick. Oh, okay. Tamales or pozole? I'll ask that question then. Tamales or pozole?
I'm gonna have to go with pozole.
Okay. I have this question of every single person. I had already asked the question, but I'll just forget it. It's not that important because I already forgot it. Hey, we have which region of Texas has the best tacos?
Which region?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, South Texas has the best tacos.
Okay, good. I asked this question because I told Commissioner Zamora and every candidate's been on has agreed they're going to build a border wall to prevent the taco editor from Texas Monthly from coming down into the valley and eating our tacos because he says Dallas tacos are the best and we need to prevent that. So can I have you on record that you will build some sort of border wall or checkpoint to keep him out of our tacos? No, you're not doing it.
Can't go that far, but we do have the best tacos here. We do. The birria tacos have become very popular. We've got several establishments, even in this, especially in District 3. That have some really good birria tacos, and so if you're ever out here, come and try them out.
I will try. I will do that when the Corona is over. Bulldogs or Warriors? Ooh, that's a tough one.
Well, Nikki Rowe is kind of in the center of the heart of District 3, and so I would go with the Warriors because of location, but. We've had some, and the Warriors, we've had some really good teams, basketball teams, football teams. So I got to go with the Warriors right now.
Roy's asking, who's the best cook, your mom or your wife?
Come on, Roy. I mean, seriously?
And I believe Lydia's listening, so do the right thing. That's a good question, Roy. I want to steal that one. Make sure you comment on that one. I like this one. Who is the best cook?
I love that question. I love it. They both are fantastic cooks.
Just answer. You're not gonna answer.
Yeah, no. I mean, they're
okay.
wonderful.
You might have to sleep in the doghouse. You might have to sleep Okay, Commissioner Demore is asking, a Mission or McAllen?
City of McAllen.
There you go.
I mean, where have I lived over the last 20 years? This is where I've lived, and this is where I'm gonna stay. Somewhat. So,
There you
city of
go.
Mission, man. I mean, I got a lot of friends in Mission, just like I do in Far and in Edinburgh. Right, we all do. It's a small community, you know, and we have friends in other cities as well.
Mm-hmm.
But McAllen's the best.
There you go. All right. That's a good answer. All right. I'll have a few extra questions after rapid fire. Rapid fire is over. He's off the hot seat. Don't make him stay on that hot seat longer than he has to. What has been your biggest achievement as District 3 City Commissioner, do you feel?
I think improving the drainage situation in District 3 has been number one. You know, if you look at the 2018 rain event that we had, it was horrible. It was really it affected a lot of people in our community, especially in District 3 as well. But if you fast forward it to 2020, we had a similar amount of rain, but in a short period of time, we were able to make drastic improvements to the drainage situation in not only in District 3 but in the city of McAllen. I'm also very proud of a beautification project that we did right across from Nicky Road. It was an area, 2-block area of land that had been forgotten. Basically, you know, it was overgrown and everything. We made it into a very nice, lush area where we landscaped it, put some trees, some nice plants, and it looks really nice now. And so those are a couple of the kind of achievements, I guess you could say, in the district that I'm really proud of.
Darren, I'm not asking that question. That's not fair to Commissioner. Commissioner Quintanilla, I was already going to call you Commissioner, so I've said his name too much in the interview. I'm not asking that question, Darren.
You have like a troll policy?
Yeah, that's yeah. Well, it's okay. Darren's going to ask the question, and all of that. It was already at post rapid fire question, Darren. Get that question next time, and I'll ask that question. Exactly, drainage. What do you? This might be a tougher question. What has been your biggest regret as a district commissioner that you like? I wish I wouldn't have voted that way, or would have done that. I would have done that differently.
In terms of voting for things,
voting, you know, maybe for voting, yeah.
Let me give you an example. The last parade that we had back in August, we had to make a decision. Are we going to have a parade or are we not going to have a parade? And, you know, I think we were into year 5 of having a holiday parade. And in August, we were still at an elevated situation in terms of the pandemic, the number of ICU beds that were being used, the numbers of deaths that were being reported. And I voted no against having a parade. And I guess, you know, nobody has a crystal ball. You don't know if the situation is going to get worse or it's going to get better. By the time that late November came around and early December, the situation had improved a little. I think it's gone the other way here lately, but so I voted no. I think but what turned out was a really good event that the city put on, virtual event that was safe, and the city did a great job in doing it. So yeah, I guess if I look back, I took the conservative approach in voting against having it. Basically, it was a vote to hold. To place a hold on that event for 1 year and not have it this year, to have it next year, right? But at the end of the day, what happened was the city put together a really good event, and it was safe, and so we continued the tradition of having a holiday parade in McAllen.
Yeah, and I can honestly say, you know, a lot of people in Brownsville go over there to go watch that parade. I'm kind of jealous of y'all's parade. Although I do like it when y'all come to Charo Days and you have like a Santa Claus and then throw out the snow, especially the night parade for the Charo Day night parade, which we're not going to do in I'm really not a fan of churro days. I'm just not. But a lot of family is here in Brownsville.
Is it like the signature parade or signature event in Brownsville?
Yeah, the Char Days is the one that the day parade on Saturday is the big one. It's the international parade. They show it on Channel 7, and they used to show it all the way deep into Mexico. It's, back when it was good, and they had people like Vicente Fernandez, and Juan Gabriel as the Mr. Amigo. Now we get crappy Mr. Amigos, but hey, it's okay. This is about Brownsville. It's about McAllen. So no, but y'all put us to shame with the holiday parades. I would prefer to call it Christmas, but I understand why it's called holiday. Team Quintanilla. Oh wow, Chelsea's you got the endorsement from Chelsea. Wow, that's a good endorsement there. Good job, Chelsea. What do you hope to accomplish as a city district commissioner again? Oh, okay. I'll ask that question after I had already completed my question. You know what? Let's go with his question, and then I'll ask mine at the end. What plans does the city have to police restaurants to 50% COVID capacity on Valentine's Day? Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm glad you're bringing it up, Eddie. I think we need to remain vigilant. If you take a look at the amount of cases that are still the pandemic is still around, and we've been getting some reports for weeks, months, off and on of either a restaurant bar having too many people or not enough social distancing, and so we take every comment seriously. Every allegation seriously. So that's why we have a pretty extensive code enforcement department. They're available at all hours. If there's an issue, especially if there's a bar, restaurant that's open that you're hearing, there's too many people in there, it's too crowded, they're not exercising social distancing, then let us know at the city. And we will send somebody out there and take a look at it, because we're not out of the woods. We're still in a situation that is still serious. And until the numbers go down drastically, until most people are vaccinated, we're just not going to be comfortable.
Yeah. Chelsea's saying he's been a great commissioner for McAllen. Okay. A great decision on the parade. I haven't asked this question. I should have asked. What are your thoughts on defunding the police there in McAllen? I haven't really specifically asked about the budget, and I apologize, but there's so many topics we can get into. But defunding the police has been something in national news, and it was done throughout last summer. You all had a budget this year. Did you all, lower the amount of money going to public safety, or do you think that it's not enough? You need to do more. What are your thoughts on, generally speaking, on public safety?
Well, I think, when it comes to public safety and defunding the police, which is what I think a lot of us have heard nationally happen, and even cities in Texas, like the city of Austin, went through a situation where there was people that were asking for that to happen. You don't see that happen in the Valley. You definitely don't see that in McAllen. And a couple of years ago, we fully funded the police department's request for additional officers, which is difficult to do because when we look at the budget, there's so many departments that are asking for either additional staff or additional equipment, additional capital outlay, that we've got to look at and prioritize, right? But we did that a couple years ago. Now, this past year was a year that the pandemic was affecting the way we were looking at our budget, right? But we had just come up, 2019, just come up with a good year in terms of our budget. And so we said, we're going to take care of the police that year. And they need 12 new officers. We're going to give them the 12 that they requested. And so I'm all for helping our police and fire. I think public safety is should be our number one priority in the city of McAllen. Taking care of people, making sure that they're safe. I don't know that there's a better or a more pressing need that a community has than making sure that the community is safe.
Yeah.
And so
No, I interrupted. I apologize. The question I was going to ask earlier that I didn't get a chance to ask was, what do you feel? What do you hope to accomplish as a city commissioner if you get an additional term? What's your main goal that maybe is left
Sure.
unfinished?
Well, the main goal is to continue to do the projects that we've been doing in terms of the drainage situation, making sure that we were fully um, making our system the most efficient drainage system possible. But when we look at drainage, we also have to work with our partners in the county, because
Mm,
we can drain as much water as we can out of our city. But if there's a holdup in the county,
mhm,
then that water's not going to flow out. And fortunately, the county has been working on their own drainage program. So yeah, I know that we're doing a great effort to coordinate with them. So I think continue to do that. I think we also need beautification projects. I
mm,
mentioned the one that we have on Ware and Vine. We need to continue to do that, because as our city looks better and improves, I think what we're gonna see is more developments,
right.
more subdivisions, and in particular in District 3. I mentioned that there's parts that it's an older part of the city, and so what we need are more subdivisions coming into District 3, so that our school district, can also receive, more students. We really need to revive parts of the district, and
Mhm,
so by beautifying, by helping to do that, I think what we're going to see is more subdivisions coming in. I think you'll already see that on Ware Road. There's a couple of new subdivisions that I'm really excited about, because it 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 really means growth, and I'm thankful that we've got that going. I hope for more growth to happen in District 3.
right. And Commissioner Zamora and Myra will be upset at me if I don't ask the question about hike and bike trails. So I want to ask, what are your thoughts on hike and bike trails? Do you need more in McAllen? Do you need less in McAllen? Is there any particular hike and bike trails there in District 3 that you feel strongly about that you need to improve or build?
Well, we've got three hike and bike trails primarily in the city. We've got
Mhm,
one on Benson, one on Bicentennial, and one on Second Street. They're well used, and I use basically either the one here on Benson or the one on Second Street.
mhm,
Um, and so, do we need more? What we need is connection. We need to be able to connect those three hike and bike trails with each
mhm.
other, so that we can, like on Benson Road, it's like a mile or so of a hike and bike. I mean, if you want to do a 10K, you're gonna have to do it several times, right?
Yeah,
Um,
bro.
so, but what I think we need is more of a mountain biking designated area.
Oh,
I like to do mountain biking, and we have to go to our neighboring cities, for that type of activity for the most part. I'm not talking about just a normal flat trail. I'm talking about, trails
legit.
like you'll
Well,
see in
that
Harmony,
actually
you'll see
sounds
in
fun.
Mission. I don't know if you see it in Brownsville too as well.
Yeah.
And so there's a big mountain biking community in the valley, and I know we have some property in McAllen that I've already asked city management to look at to see what we can do to make it more accessible to the community and for use of mountain biking. And
Mm,
so, but in terms of trails, I think we have a good amount right now. We just need to be able to connect them not only with the existing trail system that we've got, but with the county. I know Commissioner Eddie Cantu has made a big improvement with the trails with
mhm.
his precinct in the county. As long as we can connect to them and have a long route, the more we can do that, the better.
Yeah. Shark is asking, and it's a good question. What are the plans to handle the additional traffic in McAllen
Well,
as it
we
grows?
have a traffic light plan that we've been rolling out. The problem is with the pandemic, the traffic count has come down significantly.
Mhm.
It's coming back up, right? But
Yeah.
we can't measure traffic in a situation where there's a lot less traffic. So we're going to get the traffic light plan synced really nicely pretty soon. So it's going to be able to help with the traffic flow in our city. But you're right. The more our city grows, the more difficult it is to handle traffic in your city. But I think we have a pretty good plan to be able to address it through our traffic light system. And as soon as we're able to fine tune it, you're going to see the benefits here real soon.
Yeah, no, I'm giving Commissioner Zamora and Myra a hard time about the hike and bike trails, and they know why. They know why. It's a joke. Chelsea, and this will probably be my last question I'm going to get from the audience because I've already kept a lot of Commissioner Quintanilla's time, and I know time is important. So Chelsea's asking, how do you feel about redistricting? And in that line, if it's okay, if I can add, I mentioned this to Commissioner Zamora and others that have come on about the idea of doing a hybrid system, because I feel like maybe y'all are too small to have 6 district commission seats as opposed to just maybe 4 in an at-large, and maybe it's obviously too late to put it on the agenda for your May election, to have like some sort of a charter election or referendum. What are your thoughts on that in line with the redistricting question?
You know, I think what we could do is have a couple of at-large commissioners. So, you know, we could convert what we have right now to, let's say, 4 district commissioners, 2 at-large, and a mayor. I think that's a good plan. I wouldn't be opposed to that. It would mean redistricting, and that would be challenging because you're gonna basically, you know, downsize from having 6 commissioners to 4 commissioners. But I'm for that. You know, with the new census, you know, there's going to be redistricting already.
Yeah.
And so we're going to have to look at where the boundaries are and see where the populations have shifted, and do some work in that regard. But while we're doing it, you know, if the community thinks that you know, having a couple of at-large commissioners and bringing the total number from 6 to 4 commissioners, if that's a good idea, I'd be in favor of it.
Yeah, and that's how we do it in Brownsville, and I think it works right because of the size of our city, and traffic is already building up. Yeah, I think it makes the most sense, quite frankly, because I don't know how you all are, but everything can be, there's so many people, influential people that live in maybe one particular district, and they only get one representative. And, you know, not that we want to have them all come to the same area, but I think it alleviates some things. My last question is always this: is there any particular thing or topic that I didn't ask, or anybody in the audience didn't ask, that you feel strongly about that you'd like to comment on? And this is your opportunity.
In regards to
anything. Like, what is the most, like, something that we haven't talked about that you like, you know what, I wanted to talk about this, but you didn't ask me this question, so I'm going to answer it now.
Yeah, I've got something, you know, the border, the situation at the border is something that we need to be aware of. It's my understanding, and the Border Patrol has kind of shifted their way of handling the illegal immigration issue. They're basically not processing individuals right now and taking them to a central location to process, and then taking them over to the bus station to go to their destination. It's my understanding that there are letting people come through and doing very little in terms of due diligence, checking at who's crossing the border right now. It's something that is becoming more of a serious situation. And I think you asked that question last week, right, with one of my opponents. And so it may not be widely known. So he may have not had the benefit of knowing really what's happening at the border, and I understand that. But we have to take a regional approach to public safety, because the city of McAllen, I mean, if we start to see a whole lot of people coming through here, the city can't do it on its own.
Right.
We depend on the county, with the sheriff. We depend on the DPS. It's really a regional approach to public safety. But we really need to monitor what's happening at the border right now, because it's my understanding there's been a shift in policy down there, and it's going to become a growing problem. And so I think we need to all be concerned, asking our city, our elected officials, especially our congressmen, what they feel about it and what can they do to affect change. Because we have a border for a reason, right? We have laws of immigration and for a reason. And so if we're just gonna have an open border and let people come across freely, it could be disastrous. It was a year or 2 or 3 ago that there were these caravans that were coming across, and there was a lot of concern back then about the caravans. Well, that could happen again. And I think we need to be concerned, and we need to have a plan already of being able to work with our regional partners and really to lobby with our federal partners as well, to make sure that they're doing what they should be doing, which is it's a federal issue. Immigration is a federal issue. And so, but if they're not, then it comes down to cities, and local police departments to enforce what the federal government isn't.
No, and I absolutely agree. And we talked. I think we talked a little bit about this with your opponent last Thursday and with Commissioner Zamora last week. But it's just sometimes I'll ask the same question, sometimes I don't. So I appreciate you, and Myra appreciates you discussing the border, and it does affect us here in the borderlands, and people don't realize it. And so we're having to take the brunt of it with our tax dollars and whatnot. So I appreciate that answer. I didn't even ask you. Would you be willing to come on if we do a debate maybe in April? Would you be for you and your opponents? Would you be willing to come on? Awesome. We could totally do it, and it'll be fair and impartial. It'll be fun. Similar type questions, but maybe a little bit more harder, a little harder. God, more harder. Gosh, I'm going to get an F for my grammar today. There you go. So I appreciate you, Commissioner Quintanilla, for coming on. I appreciate you agreeing to be willing to do a debate here at Real Politics, and we'll most definitely work with you and your opponents to be able to make that happen. If we've had 2 of you and your other opponent, but we haven't had your third one, and for some reason she doesn't ever call back. So it's like, maybe she come back, she doesn't. Her problem, not ours. We try. So God bless you in your campaign, and we look forward to having you on for the debate. God bless each and every one of you all for joining us here at Real Politics Live. If you didn't catch all of the video, you came in a little late, it'll be on our page, either on YouTube at youtube.com/realpolitics, or here on Facebook, facebook.com/realpoliticslive. Like and share the feed, and please like and share our page as much as you can to help us grow, so that we can continue to do these type of podcasts to help the region grow and get you the voters to know who your candidates are, not just for May, but when we get ready for the primary in March. It's just around the corner. Next year. Never know. So we'll more than likely be doing a late show. So if you haven't already turned on your live video notifications, please turn them on. If we do a late show tonight, it'll be at 11 o'clock. All right. So we'll see y'all tonight at 11. If not tomorrow, tune in at 9 o'clock. We'll have M&M at 9 o'clock, the M&M show with Madi and Myra. And then on Thursday, we are supposed to have McAllen mayor candidate Othel Brand Jr. Here at Real Politics Live at 8 o'clock. So we'll look forward to seeing you there. So God bless each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Good night. Bye-bye.